All right. So real quick, same as last time, let's hold our questions till the end. We are joined by moderator Brian Thompson from Miami WebFest. Give it up for Brian, please. And we've got a great panel here with the minorities in film, and I'm going to hand it off here to Brian, and we're going to kick this thing off. So austinwebfestival.com/livestream.html, and I'd like to thank Humblebee Media and Austin Film Meet for doing the live streaming today. There you go.
All right, let's get this party started. So we're going to go down the line. What we have here is Sam Bremen, Francois Larosa, Richard Streibel, and Joseph J.T. Campos. But he goes by J.T. I know I gave him your government. It's okay. So what I'd like you to do first is let's go down the line and you tell us how you got started in film. And so how'd you get started?
Judicial system. Told me I couldn't do it.
Who told you?
Story. Judge. I said, why not? Let's go. He asked the question. I'm telling the truth. Yeah, judicial system. I was caught up in something way back when. And the judge said, you got get a life, Mr. Campos. Give your dream up. And that just lit a fire inside. And so here I am. Yeah. Judicial system.
All right.
Hi. Can y'all hear me? Just a little closer there you go. Hi. I'm Francois Larosa. I was an actor back in the late 90s, and I was really intrigued about the directing and the more of the producing side of films. I think I started my company, Starfield Productions, and it was in 2008. And I went from acting to becoming a film producer, writing scripts, and learning that business side of it, because there is a business side of filmmaking. And as an actor, I never knew that side of it. But in this business, I learned that you have to be very creative, and you also have to be a businessman or woman to make money, to succeed in this, and to continue as long as I have, the 10 years. But that's how I got into it, from acting to becoming a filmmaker.
Thank you.
Well, I got to listen to the last panel, which was amazing. Thank you, ladies. That was awesome. And one of their points was, women getting more opportunity in the field and in the profession that we do. I think that as minorities, our story is very similar. I was told that I couldn't do this, or I couldn't get these lead roles, or I couldn't do that. All the what you cannot do. I think very similar to everybody else's story. I just decided that I didn't care what anybody thought, and I was going to do it no matter what, and because that's what I believed in. So I think that I as well started as an actor. I was an athlete, playing basketball for the university and doing different things, but I never really told anybody I was an actor. I was like doing the plays over here on the side, and what are they going to think of me, all this kind of stuff. But I finally, I guess after college or whatnot, I decided to go ahead and dive in, and united with JT on Alamo, which was our first movie that we ever did. And yeah. So it was a huge set, one of the biggest sets I've ever been on to this day. With I think it was six or 7 months, something like that. It was an amazing experience to come out of the gates in that kind of perspective. Even though the movie maybe didn't get all that it should have, or end up being a great movie, but our experience was amazing, and getting to work with all these people and learn the business pretty fast. But I just basically want to say that it was pretty much the subject that we're talking about, is people saying you're not good enough, or you're this gender, or you're this, citizen or non-citizen or however, and we just get, moved in and made it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of picking up on that last note. My name's Sam. I'm an actor. I'm a local actor. Hey, everybody. Yeah, no, I feel that way as well. I was like an actor when I mean, that's how I think I got here. Is that I was a little, stage ham, when I was a little baby. Ever since I was, young, and so just took that and ran with it. But you're like, as I mean, any actor. I mean, you're gonna be pigeonholed. But I mean, especially as like minorities, then no matter what, like you're like even more pigeonholed. So it's like as an actor, like, and for myself, just like as a person, having to like, certainly compromise on the roles that like you get offered and like that you want to represent as you yourself, but also as the person that you're representing, or your people. No matter we're all people here, but I mean like you're what you represent basically, and so no matter what, try to act to the best that you could with the roles that you were offered, and was lucky enough that I was just friends and made friends with Eric and I saw some of the but wherever he is, that that made lucky with enough to be friends with these people that are amazing filmmakers that have these ideas that y'all are talking about, that of knowing sort of where everyone's coming from to represent everybody respectfully. And so it's just a great idea.
Outstanding. Leave the mic there, because I'm going to ask you another question
Sure,
here. We can go down the row. So I'll ask this question anecdotally. I'm a filmmaker also, and I never intended to be a filmmaker. I got into the business because I wanted to be an actor, and I just wasn't getting the roles. And so I wrote a project that was kind of consistent with what I knew how to do, which was, jump off of stuff, do dangerous stuff, and I had a military background, and I wanted to do some stuff like that. And I had a partner who told me he was with me until one of his friends said to him that he thought he was wasting his time because a black lead actor in an action project was going to have a very small percentage of success. So the way I dealt with that and overcame that was just I adopted a mindset of complete naivete. I just sort of didn't even consider the possibility that they were right, and I just kind of did my thing. And as I continued to do that, people just started to gradually support what I was doing. And so in my mind, I wasn't even conscious of the fact that I was black when I was attempting to, or that my blackness was somehow an obstacle. And that's the way things have progressed. And now I'm, I run the Miami WebFest, and I have my series and a couple other projects too. So my question is, can you give us a specific instance of a time when being a minority held you back in some way in the film industry, and what you did to overcome that?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'd say like every day. Maybe like having to like deal with that. I don't know if in y'all's case, but like definitely in my shoes. I was offered like this role in like Queen of the South, that show Queen of the South, like the other day, but like, yeah, but like for a clown.
Should have taken it. We had a lot of fun.
No, I know. Like, but like, I would have. Like, that's the thing is like, I was going to, but like, it was just like, it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? Like it's just like the timing, like my schedule, just like my schedule just like stunk. And like, that's the thing is like, I totally kind of like, I'm now in like kind of like my point in my life, and like, I think I don't know if this is similar to what you're saying in your anecdote, but like as an actor, I mean, I love film. I don't think I respect everything that y'all do. I think I ever be a filmmaker, but I can act for sure. But I mean, as an actor, still, I would like close myself off like to like these roles. I mean, because I'd be like, F that, like no way, like I'm not gonna like represent that. I'm not gonna be that person that's gonna be that guy that's gonna like be the clown, or like, and I mean like, and that's not like, I mean, it's like it's weird because it's like in film now, and as well, like, you know, especially with like, I think while we're up here, is that like we're really starting to make a name for that, make that like be known, make that sort of, well, yes, you're a minority, but like, you know, it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Like, you don't have to be pigeonholed to like these terribly like, you know, terribly disrespectful roles and like, you know, offensive roles either. You can use these things in like in a very like lightful way or whatever, like lighthearted way, and like kind of use it like, you know, against itself. Like, I don't know if it's irony, I guess, but I was a clown in like some other films, you know what I mean? Like but like then again, like I've been like a, you know, a teacher and an actor and a like a taxi driver and a pot dealer and like lots of other things that like didn't necessarily, wasn't like it was required to be a little person. They was just like, oh, hey, we just like the way you act, so we just want you in there. We like your characters, and that, you know, is everything that, you know, we all strive for, to be recognized, you know, equally and respectfully. But it's tough because no matter what, like whether it's like Hollywood, or if it's like, you know, an indie film, like you're gonna get these roles that are either gonna like not necessarily like exploit your minority-ness, but like you're gonna need to use it at some point. And so it's just like whether what you're saying, like how you're gonna use it, like, because yeah, just like it's all up to your advantage, I guess.
My story is kind of funny. I guess this casting agent had seen an old picture of me that I didn't have any facial hair, and I think I even had like a blonde hairdo or something like that. I don't know. But they were like, yeah, leading actor Richard Stribel, and I show up for the audition, and they're like, you're Mexican. And I'm like, yeah, I am. My mom is Mexican. You know, my dad is German. But yeah, I'm Mexican. What does that have to do with it? And they're like, well, we read your name and kind of saw your picture, and we thought you were, you know, Caucasian. And I'm like, well, I am. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? You know, is it the way I speak, or is it my accent, or, you know, what's going on? And they're like, well, unfortunately, we're just gonna have to like not cast you because you're Mexican. And I was like, wow, so it has nothing to do with my skills. It has nothing to do with anything else, but just that. And you know, sometimes that happens, and you know, especially in my case, because when you read my name, you know, you're just gonna, I guess, assume that or whatnot, you know. And I get it, you know, it's no big deal. But the lady that was actually sitting in this chair earlier, she's the one that blew my mind cause she was one of my first teachers, Mona, and she said, to kind of go on his quote about pigeonholing. She said, who gives a damn, Rich? Get pigeonholed all the way down to the grit, so every time they call on a Mexican, you're the one that's getting the opportunity. And then you could make a difference further down the road. So if anything, to any actor out there from any genre, race, or whatever, who cares? Be a man, be a woman, and take the role, work hard at it, and make it happen, get paid, and then let the chips fall where they may, and you know, things will eventually change. I mean, look at Danny Trejo. I don't know how many movies Danny Trejo's been in, like over 100 or something, you know. But you know, this guy plays that guy very well, and hey, more power to him. He's making good money, you know. Now he's got, what is it? What's the taco place called that he's got? Trejo Tacos. I mean, who knows, you know?
Well, I notice most of y'all are talking more from the actor standpoint. I'm going to talk more about the producing and filmmaking part. The obstacles that I faced was, first off, trying to get a project off the ground. You know, my mom's Italian, my dad was Spaniard, and I went to try to pitch it and talk to producers, and they, you know, you only got five minutes to sell or pitch your project to them. And, you know, I'd always hear the mantra, well, do you have anything else? And, you know, I finally decided to go ahead and fund my first project that I believed in, you know, and that's the hardest thing, of taking that first step and believing in the project that you wrote and believing that it's got some merit, some credibility, and to just, you know, jump into it. When I first started this, I sold my first commercial, and I was working in the corporate field, and after I sold it, a week later, I got laid off. So I used my severance pay, plus I had a producer, and that talked the talk, but he didn't walk the walk. And for those filmmakers that know it, I'm sure you know what that means. They can talk a good game, but then when it comes to it, they don't have anything. They don't have any money or anything. So I ended up firing him, a producer, and I ended up selling one of my cars to finish the film called The Reincarnation of Jezebel that I really believed in. You know, I remembered living in an apartment, and I did the storyboard, and one of my acting friends came over, Mario Zamora, is a really good actor. I said, Mario, this is you. You're going to be playing this. And it was like the bottom by the kitchen, you know, the little cell store. And he just laughed. And it wasn't 4 months later, we were at that point in Wimberley shooting that scene, exactly what I told him. And he said, Francois, I'll never doubt you again. And we've worked a couple of other projects since then. But I finished the project. And this is where the rubber meets the road. For all of those who are actors, filmmakers, and even crew members, you know, sometimes your passion that you have inside supersedes reality, and then you become homeless. I was homeless after I shot this film, The Reincarnation of Jezebel, for half a year. I was living out of my truck. So that's how much I went from social work to corporate to homelessness as a filmmaker. And then I decided, you know, I didn't go to school for this, but I learned through acting of what everybody's job role was. So what I did was I decided to gain more knowledge. And what did I do? I went out to half-price books and I bought a book on how to make a film for $30. Okay, that was $15. Now it's negative 15 in the bank. Wow, what a way to start out this, you know, in this career. So I ended up finishing it up, and I did that in 2009. But I kept on going forward on this, So I kept getting jobs shooting commercials. I kept, you know, going to different networking places to get on the set and shoot film as a cinematographer. And then at the same time I was writing. Well, it wasn't until later, till 2015, that I sold that film to HBO Go in Europe. So it did get distributed. But it took a long time later. But since then, I had to overcome that obstacle of people saying, this is an interesting part, is when you're getting into this industry, you will have friends that will say, or associates, or maybe even closer than that, family, will say, that is the most craziest thing you're doing going into filmmaking. And you don't have any experience. You don't have any knowledge. You didn't even go to school for that. I went to school for social work. Well, I saw those friends later, and halfway in, they said, are you still doing that? And I said, yeah, I'm still going forward on it. They said, man, that's crazy. You know. So then when I finally solidified a deal with CBS Telemundo, I sold my reality shows, 2 seasons of that, to Otro Lado. It was called Otro Lado.
You can clap.
They came up to me, my friends and family, and they tapped me on the side and said, I knew you could do that all along. So those are my stories. I could keep going, but I'm going to let JT tell it.
What was the question again?
I wanted you to oh, okay.
Joking. Talking about that rodeo clown? Yeah. Those guys were stuntmen. They went in there doing stunts and they kicked some ass.
No, I mean, like, I wish, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're going to get stereotyped. I was stereotyped. Shoot, I'm working on Queen of the South. We got 5 episodes on that sucker, and I am your drug cartel leader, killer. I'm a Judas. I killed my brother, and that still took some time to like dive into as an actor. Yeah, I was stereotyped, but I still did my homework, and like Richard said, if you're gonna think of me as that stereotype, I'll take it because I'm working. And when I'm able to make the difference, I link up with such great minds, and we start doing the producing and we start writing our own content, because yes, we understand that even as actors, we are still creating, because I mean, I'm bringing little things, little nuances to my character, and that's me writing into my character and sharing that with the director and the producers, and before you know it, it just takes a different, becomes something different, as it did. And hell, Richard was there the whole time telling me, yeah, you're not just gonna be some guy that gets picked up on this series. Yeah, they stereotyped your ass out, but yeah, shit, dude.
Has there been a role that you've taken or that you've turned down because of that?
I haven't turned down any roles yet. I'm still doing whatever you want to send my way. I love this industry. I love the art. There's every story. We all have a story we want to tell and share. And, you know, when you see that passion inside someone else's eyes, and they're like, we really want to work with you just because they see that passion in yours, you jump on that. Because, dang, we all have something to share and share with each other. And we want to get it out there and share it with the world, because we believe that story will make the difference in someone's eyes. Your episode, the crazy detective. Oh my God!
Pantsless detective. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna say. I saw the kids back there, but yeah, man, it's just little things. They go so far. They transcend through time and space, and I think that's why we do what we do, because we know we're going to have that effect.
So Sam and Richard, have either of you turned down a role because you felt it was too, it promoted a negative stereotype?
I don't think I've turned down a film. I'm making a particular film. A famous musician, famous artists that are supposed to be in our culture, you know, icons in our lives. Even as far as in the African American community, I've gotten opportunities that I've turned down because they had a different view than what I saw, but I actually lived it. I actually was there with those people. I was around them, and that's why I was being approached. But if you're not going to tell it properly, if you're not going to show that this is how it was and really, really push it in that direction, then no, you know. But that's from the filmmaker side, you know, and like JT said earlier, as an actor, challenge me, you know. If you want to give me a role like that, well then, or you know, you want to put something, whether it's negative or whatever, let's make something but challenge me so that we can actually do it the right way. Same concept, you know.
So if I challenge you to play a role that says, in a film that promotes something that you don't agree with, but the role would be very challenging.
Well, you know, there's things that you agree with, and things you disagree with, but at the same time, what is your part gonna do? If the Richard Ramirez thing, if you're gonna show about a guy that used to kill people and all that, and you're playing American Psycho or whatever it might be, still get to show the range of your character, right, as an actor, so that's a plus. And the second thing is maybe the way you show it will really impact somebody or the audience that would make it believable so that they can actually see the severity of what it is, you know what I mean, or what the subject might be, you know, from whatever it might be, because it, you know, those stories have to be told, and then I'd rather tell it or I'd rather act it for real, you know, and make it feel real than you know, not really diving in. You know, I heard on the panel earlier, young lady saying that she was really appreciative of like doing something that she's never done before so that she could do her research and get in there and really grind it out. Like, that's what I live for. You know, I want to know more about your story so I can make your project or your whatever documentary the best that it could be, you know. Of course, it's going to have my twist because, you know, we're as filmmakers, we have our own brands, but at the same time, you know, we want it to be as authentic as possible. So if that rubs it the wrong way or is not played right, you know, it can make a big difference.
Sam?
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with y'all. And also, but like to, you know, my own minority, I guess, it's tough as well. Like, because I guess whether it's because we're a minority, Like I feel like that we get like even more stereotyped more, like or like that we have to play that much more of a stereotype role. So like as a little person, I'm getting like stand-in roles for like kids, you know what I mean? And like where you're not even getting to see me, but like I'm getting paid, but like yeah, I'm just like standing in there for like a 4-year-old child, you know what I mean? And it's just like yeah, it's just like that's like messes with your head, and like you know what I mean? Like I mean you can like shake it off, but I mean like it's just like kind of aggravating sometimes, you know what I mean?
4-year-old could be doing some awesome stunts.
Hey, and I could be doing those stunts for that 4-year-old. Yeah. And but like at the same time, it's just like I'm getting like offers from like and like I'm making like like I'm doing like more roles. Like it's funny because I'm doing more roles for like more like low budget like friends like that are like these roles where I'm just like a person. But then I'm getting like offers as Francois like through my agent that like I'll get like offers like through like for like what was it I'm sorry like the like what was it? It was some like little it was like another like little thing, you know what I mean? So it's like I'll turn them down, like you know what I mean, like because it's just like I don't see the point. Sorry, it was like for midget wrestling, that's what it was, you know what I mean? So it's just like it's like midget wrestling, or it's like something where it's like a carny or something, or it's like something where like I'm getting like thrown, like I was like getting like like close to an audition to like that part in Wolf on Wall Street or whatever, you know what I mean? Where like but like they're like dwarf tossing, you know what I mean? And like that went to like a guy that I know, like another like little person guy, like you know what I mean? Like so it's just like I mean he got it the part whatever, and like he took it and everything, but it's just like if I got that part, like I mean still like that's like just like another, it just stings because like you want to play like what you're saying, all the stuff out of your role that you're given, but it just stinks when you're dealt that kind of card, Yeah, consistently, or just like or it's seen that way. So yeah, no, I mean, I as much as it hurts, I'll definitely turn down some roles, but like I feel like a little bit more proud just because of it,
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. I guess the root of my question really had to do with more, what you said, Sam, because I think that the industry, my impression is that the industry seems to be changing, and you give me, Francois, your take on this, but it seems like the industry changing because, even 20 years ago, if you were the only 20 years ago, if you were the only black person in a horror film, you were dying first. Can we agree?
True.
You were dying first.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's a silly example, but my point is that it seems like we're evolving as partly due to new media, because now you have storytellers who have all these diverse backgrounds, and these people are coming and their perspective on life is different. It's not necessarily a racism thing when you see people who are white writing from a white perspective. Sometimes it's just because you have to be true to who you are, so that's what you're envisioning when you're writing. Francois, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I think you said it really well. In the film industry, now I'm at a point where I'm allotted, big money to make a film for studio, and then I have the producers right behind my back, but they're still calling the shots. And back in the 60s, there was a term called whitewashed, where I remember Mickey Rooney was playing a Japanese butler, and it was Breakfast and Tiffany's, and that was in the 60s. Okay, now we're in the like say I think it was 2015. You've got Johnny Depp playing a Native American. When there's plenty of Native American great actors out there, but I had a chance. I don't know if y'all got to go to South by Southwest 2017 this year. I was on the red carpet. I was talking, and I had a chance to see Ridley Scott. And I didn't really. We chatted a little bit, but he just seemed like he didn't really want to be there, actually. But the interesting thing is, I read an article in Variety magazine that he said that he was really criticized for his film called Exodus. It was called Kings and Gods. He said that he would have loved to. He likes to really go authentically, kind of like the Coen brothers, the authenticity of the characters for the right roles. The problem is that no production company would give him a budget to make it authentic, to have Mohammed so-and-so play the lead part from so-and-so. He said they wouldn't give me a budget for that. So it'd have to be a lead character. So there's still some of that, they're still missing the mark in minorities in film. But the thing is,
Absolutely.
now we've got digital media, we've got webisodes that can break that barrier, that you can shoot the film that you want and utilize the web media for that. In fact, there's even media entities such as Netflix now that are looking for content with that kind of unstereotyped, true to form for actors out there and to the story. I think at one time they were going to make El Chapo or something a drug dealing story, and they were getting the guy from Thor to play El Chapo, and I'm just like, what? Yeah, Leonardo. That's a good example, as Leonardo DiCaprio, Scarface, as Richard said. But it's just, it just doesn't seem right. But I will admit that we've come a long way, though. I mean, we still have a ways to go. I have yet to see, I've seen a lot of Caucasian actors play Latinos and Asian and African American roles. I mean, they come in and take those roles, but I've never seen it the opposite. I've never seen Asians or Latinos or African Americans play the Caucasian roles. There are some, changes in the script from the writers and producing, but we've come a long way from the 60s. In fact, we've got some rock star women in film now, but back then that was unheard of to have women in film. Now, I mean, I've seen some really good women filmmakers that I want to check out their style. I'm impressed with them. So in that manner, there are some changes, but with digital media, now you can shoot your own story, tell the story as it really is, and show it. Have an avenue of showing it. There's a, I distribute films if it's a good story, as well as I do script brokerage. So if you've got a good story, I can broker your script. I'm not going to write a script. I'm not at a point where I write people's scripts anymore, but I do. I just wanted to say that there is the media now is the digital media in that manner where you can tell your story and be in the right role. Can
I say something? I'm really sick and tired of labels. Like, I want to stand up for you because you're a woman. I want to stand up for you because you're a black person, because you're a Mexican, because you're white. I'm here. I'm behind you. But you're a human being, and whatever race or nationality or religion you are, like, not to be negative, but I really don't care. I want to know you. I want to know who you are as a person, and that's what I want to judge. I really don't care about labels. I'm really sick and tired of it. I think those labels in many fights that we fight to have equality, we're also spreading ourselves thin, and you could obviously have an all women's production, and awesome, yeah, and I'll be the first one there supporting you. Could have an all black, set, but at the same time, you're gonna lose the authenticity of making a film if you don't have the different opinions from different angles and different places and different sexes. And it's not even a physical thing. It's not even it's just a camaraderie thing. Damn. 2016, man, why are we still looking at each other this way? Why does it even matter? I mean, yes, if you want to tell a story about women, you want to tell a story about black people, that's fine, but don't shut everybody else out, because I want to be on your team. I want to help you out. You know what I mean? I want to work with you. I think it should just be that way, but unfortunately it isn't. We'll see.
Outstanding. All right, well, let's have some questions. Give me a chance to stretch my legs. I see one right here.
I actually have a comment. This is an excellent panel, and it's really great to hear your experiences and how you're looking at things. And I think it's just dynamite that you're saying, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna take what I can get and what I need to get. If it's, and don't look at it as pigeonholing, but have, you know, as Mona was saying, more of a positive narrative behind that. So I appreciate hearing that. I wanted to address what you were saying in terms of casting. It is becoming more of a, as the push coming from Hollywood and from directors and filmmakers that are socially conscious and conscious of telling a story that is representative and indicative of people that are in the story. Two cases in point. The Revenant, as you may know, which Leonardo DiCaprio was in, you know, Inarritu really made sure. Now, yes, that film took 7 years to greenlight, and that was because of the locations, because they could not find a place where they could shoot for that long, and they actually had to take a hiatus of 6 months.
Yes, I remember that.
But they actually sought and got Native American people.
That's right. You're correct.
Because it was authentic. And I do think that was, you know, in terms of patting Leo on the back, he is absolutely committed to that telling of the story and the protection of the rights of those people. So as we have people that are more, that have a voice, that have influence in the industry that can push that forward, I think we need to celebrate that and support those people. And that is one example where I was really pleased that that came to fruition, that it was, the whole film was completely authentic, right down to the, you know, the son. I mean, has a beautiful story, and there's a great documentary, if anyone wants to know about it, about the making of The Revenant, that explores that. And one of the actors, they actually was an oil rig driver in Texas that was cast.
That's right, correct.
The other example I have is when, help me out here, Emma Stone was cast in, that we all know this story, was cast in the story. She was supposed to be playing a mixed Asian Hawaiian. There was such a revolt. So people are speaking up, and I think that that can only be helpful.
Right.
And only help to elevate what everyone is trying to do with authenticity.
You know, the thing is that
I just wanted to bring that out for discussion.
Yeah, that director is Inarritu, and one of my favorite conscientious directors of our time right now. You know, he did Babel. He did Los Perros Amores Perros, and you know, he's very social conscious about casting for the right roles, and he's one of the few. Quran does the same thing. He does the same. They're all friends, and.
My point is that in terms of saying they can't get the money, I think that I understand that, but there are great examples where it can be had.
It's true.
Powerhouse people like DiCaprio wanted to be able to tell the story.
Right.
And Inarritu, who was directing it, to demand that.
Right. Yes. You know, there. You know, the thing. Yeah, Mel Gibson. One of the things is that that particular project, that, you know, he is one of the shift changers in the industry that people are paying attention to, and I think that it is changing, but there still needs to be some more of that. You know, and that, you know, I think Mel Gibson also. I got to give him kudos for making things very authentic. Coen Brothers, as the same thing. Kevin Costner, yes, very, you know. So there are some changes in some powerhouse, but you know, the majority of the people, some of them have to put some producing money of their money to make it happen instead of the studio's money. Where I'm at, I have the producer, you know, gives me the money. I cast for the right roles of the right people that I see in that for the characters. And then I've already been, I think, 2 feature films before this last one. I had we shot it, and when we shot it, they didn't like they just didn't feel that it was right for that actor. So I had to go to the actor and tell him I thought he was good for the role, but because they are the powerhouse with the money, I had to go and tell him, I'm so sorry. you know, I'm going to have to recast. And then I paid him in full for the day because I felt so bad. But that was my first time of having to do that to an actor. And it does happen, you know, but the films that I do, my featured films, I try to make it as authentic as I can because I've got say-so. It's funny because the producers, their mantra is, well, Francois, you know, you're the director of the ship, but in reality, they own the ship.
Yeah.
So that's
No,
how that works.
I understand that. Yep.
Any more questions or comments?
Absolutely right here.
Hi. What advice would you give to somebody who's, say, when they're directing their story, part of it can touch on somebody else's experience that they don't know about? Like, for instance, I'm a white girl. What if part of the story comes in through a Latino perspective? Where would you recommend somebody go to find that authenticity with respect, avoiding cultural appropriation, avoiding cultural fetishism, and avoiding those negative stereotypes?
It's a great question. It's kind of tough because it really depends on how you want to intake that information. You know, if I tell you go to this or watch these movies and it'll give you watch these directors, it's going to give you a certain perspective of certain things. You might think that I'm joking with you and putting you in a spot that, you know, doesn't necessarily go with what you're thinking. I think that's really up to the person that's trying to take it in. Are you willing to look at it from the other side, or are you just feeling closed-minded or maybe empowered to not feel like you have to listen to the other side? And I think that's what's been, I think, pretty much who we are and our everyday is that we have to sacrifice, you know, just like women and gay people and other people that get ridiculed or judged or whatever. We have to kind of always think of you and think of ourselves and think of the next person. And it's sometimes like, that's a lot of work, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just want to be like, hey man, can I just be me and burp, you know, whatever's going on, you know, I'm sorry, but that's how it is, you know? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't like, you know, jalapenos in everything I eat, but I do like peppers, you know? I mean, it just depends, you know? It really just depends. And I guess it goes back to what I was saying earlier is like, you know, I want to know how certain people feel. I want to see their perspective, but I don't want them to feel like that has to change who I am. And I don't want you to change who you are. I want you to be who you are, but at the same time, listen to what I got to say, because we all have a voice, you know, we all have a story to tell, you know, we all should be able to tell our stories, you know, and why should we just look at him because he's a small person that everything is about what, and oh, let me feel sorry for you because you're a small person. Can I carry you? No, I mean, I want him to feel comfortable around me, but I do want him to experience my past or where I'm from, so we can relate on certain things. But that doesn't mean I'm going to bash people that maybe mistreated me or you know, dealt me the wrong card, you know, on purpose or whatnot. But, you know, it's just important to know that there's two sides of the story, you know, and if you're willing to take that information, then by all means, there it is, take it, you know, and I definitely could point you in the right direction, but it's what you want to take out of it, you know, at the end of the day.
Any other questions?
Well, I have a question. So it seems like we're talking about labels a lot today, which is good. So being a minority in film, I'm still a student, and it seems like people are used to labeling me as free work, which obviously making art is hard, like we can't always pay for it, but it seems like we have all these movements toward women in film and just filmmakers in general. Do you feel like we need to move more toward paying our workers who are, you know, working super hard to make this film? Because I've definitely heard of, you know, been offered to work on $1 million budget movie, but they won't pay anybody that's working for them. So it's like, even $25, like, I don't care. I will work for you, but it builds up over time, you know what I mean? So what is your take in on this?
I understand exactly what you're saying. Know your worth, right? You have to know your worth. But there's some people that are in this crowd, sitting here. You'll also understand a person's heart, I think. And that's just me, you know. It's not always about money. Yes, I need money to move and you know, put food on the table, clothes on my kids' back. It's what makes the damn system work. It does. I get it. Totally get that. It's different for everybody. That's all I'm going to say. It's different for everybody because I'm not worried about that sometimes. Yes, I will not work for free, though, on every damn thing, especially when I feel someone's just trying to exploit me. But you recognize the people that are just there trying to ride your coattail, bullshit the bullshit. And if you're able to just read through that quickly, you're able to just find out where you really want to be in this industry and with who you want to surround yourself with. And I think that's just the growth we go through in this industry because everybody's there to tell a story, put you in a story, exploit you for the story. If you're in this shit long enough, you realize, fuck you and your story. And sorry, kids, but y'all are gonna be actors. Y'all are gonna hear some stuff. Don't believe everything you hear. All right, it's just a make believe world we're in, wanting to tell these beautiful stories that actually happened to us in a different form. So you're gonna see a lot, hear a lot. Just because you do doesn't mean you gotta emulate all that. So understand what's real and what isn't and do that. I only say that because I've been cursing behind the mic. Yeah, money, I'm already rich. I have always said I'm like Tom on the cruise, but I feel like Brad stuck in a pit still. But I'm rich. I've got great friends, beautiful family. I've got people that love me and support me, and sometimes that's it. That's all I need already. The rest will just work its way out.
All right. So as every great story must come to an end, so must this panel. How about we give them another big round of applause?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for sitting in and listening to our blah, 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 blah.